Oh my. So we're into part 3. If you didn't see part 1 and 2, the free links are right there in the description box. So this one became an epic adventure, and I didn't want to leave our characters high and dry and unfinished with our story because we've seen so much growth. We've seen characters that needed to get a chance to build themselves up, figure themselves out a little bit, and in some ways parallel one another's lessons about finding a confident mindset, we'll say. And now, here in part 3, is kind of the big culmination. And we had the lovers, and we've got that Four of Cups. So, sorry. Um, so good, I'm coughing. I think that she saw this character, this Queen of Wands, saw this King of Wands as the lovers once upon a time. So I'm going to say that she is contemplating love. And she may be contemplating it once again, but she's saying, I want something that divinely brings me to someone. I want someone who the divine brings into my life and they choose me wholeheartedly and I choose them wholeheartedly. Meanwhile, with this Four of Cups energy, this could be that they sit in a bit of disappointed energy, a space of like, uh, they have a level of disillusionment, perhaps. Now, this could also be that both of them share this idea of, I'm so bummed out that there were so many illusions surrounding love, surrounding the choices in love. But I'm not sure yet. Let's keep all that on the table. This is why I had to go to a part 3, because I was like, I'm out of time and I've got to still see where this takes us. We have the Fool, we have the Death card, and we have the Four of Pentacles. So the thing that needs to change, or the thing that not needs to, the place where both of these characters have come to, is they've both gone through some dramatic changes. They both looked at themselves because of the fact that they ever interacted at all. They were huge catalysts for one another. We saw that clearly if you watch part 1 and part 2. That's definitely if we step far enough back, we say, oh wow, these two, they really both played a major role in impacting one another's encouragement to look at something within themselves that they each needed to work on. So now we have this leap of faith to make greater transformation and to surrender procrastination. Each character did spend a lot of time. The King of Wands wasted a lot of time that they could have already chosen to be with that queen, but they couldn't make decisions for themselves. They needed approval from others, or they hadn't stopped people pleasing long enough to say, what do you mean? I'm doing what I need to, and I care about my family, I care about other people, but I also have my own life's journey. No, they were too much in people pleasing mode. Meanwhile, the Queen of Wands, I'll say, spent a lot of time trying to get over the fact that their words didn't match their actions. It was like she knew that they had loved her. They said that they wanted to get married, but they never put in effort. They didn't pursue, they didn't invest. And then she, in turn, took a long time getting over them. So the time that can be spent sitting, waiting, and wasting time because there was indecisive energy on both characters' parts, is what we saw. That's changing. That's the big reset button, which is amazing, right? Because characters have learned really important lessons about feeling disappointed over illusions, feeling like they can't do things that they actually can, feeling like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to have choices that are, like it's almost like each one of them needed to take greater control of their own role, is what I would say. Because even that Queen of Wands needed to take greater control. We already talked about that a lot in part 1. She needed to be like, why would I want somebody who doesn't know themselves well enough, can't make confident choices to just show up in my life and be with me? If they can't do that, then they're not my person. I don't have to cry over that because they're not strong enough yet in themselves to know what they want to build with me and then make it happen, which means I'm a free agent. I don't need to cry over this. But instead, it kind of looked like she was reshaping the dialogue, the narrative in regards to them, just in this storyline, right? That's what we saw in part 2. So if both of these characters in their place where they're they've reflected, they've made transformation, they've grown a lot. Yeah, they definitely thought a lot about this. Not about like, what is that other person doing? They thought about themselves, which is remarkable, I think, anyway, for our characters to take full responsibility for their actions, to contemplate their own, where did I hold back? What did I cheat myself out of? Did I spend a lot of time wanting something, not seeing it for what it was, not enabling myself to move forward? That's the thing that's coming to an end, is that analysis paralysis, but it's because they did think about it long enough to realize, yeah, I want to do stuff different now. No more illusions, no more disappointments. I don't have to sign up for disappointments. Oof. Five of Swords. I don't have to believe that everywhere there's blockages and I got to sit with the blockages. How did they get over the blockages then? Dealing with the shadow side. There's the devil again. The fears, the stresses. I mean, this sounds easy now, right? Sounds like these characters have a total freedom from all the things that held them back. The analysis paralysis, the blockage, or the belief that there's blockage. And really, it was all, um, like basically an allegiance to thinking too much about the things that were worrisome, the thinking all the time about blockages instead of thinking about opening a pathway so that they can move forward. And I think ultimately that's the secret. Let me ask the universe. Universe, what was the secret for both of these characters getting out of their own toxic energy, or I don't want to use the word toxic, their shadow side? What helped them? Oh my, Two of Cups, Seven of Wands, the Moon, and the Two of Wands. So first off, looking at perhaps this relationship differently, instead of saying, but they're my person, I was supposed to be with them. Instead saying, okay, they were an important piece of my lesson. This person was very valuable in my life, has been very valuable, because they showed me how to look at some underlying issues that I had. They showed me what I needed to look at that was a blockage in my own life, how I see a blockage, and how and where I was given away my power. So instead of saying, but they're my person, they were supposed to be with me, it was, yeah, they were my person. They showed me something magnificent. They showed me something that was hidden inside of my own self. I wasn't able to I wasn't able to make choices for my own self that would free me from blockages. I didn't realize that I needed to realize every action in my life is up to me. I'm the one in control. They highlighted where I didn't take my power back. And more importantly, they highlighted the point that I wasn't taking my power back and I didn't even know I wasn't. They helped me to realize I want to make my own choices. If both of them can see this interaction in that positive light, where it's like, yeah, they were my person. They might have been my person that helped me move forward. They were my person that showed me the things in my own self that I needed to figure out. That's how they were my person. And it was because of love that all of this happened to a certain extent. So they played a really profound role. I don't know what this means for these two. Let's let's go ahead and go one more time. Universe, have I looked at the Two of Cups thoroughly, or do we have something else here? Three of Wands. Three of Wands is a future unwritten, but we do see an emperor and an empress standing together, moving forward together. These two either played a massive role in each other's lives to help one another clear out illusions and disappointments surrounding love, so neither one will ever give away their power again. And they will move on and they will be emperors and empresses and be in the right connection with other people, and they will have magnificent connections hereafter. Or we could possibly say, because they each learned something really, really important, perhaps they will eventually be together and be in a very strong connection. I don't know that I'm a fan of the idea of that, let me see with one more deck. How do we look at that Three of Wands, that unwritten future? Five of Pentacles in the reverse, the Hierophant upright. These two are going to have beautiful and successful relationships, happy marriage, wholehearted spiritual bond. They won't be with the wrong partners. They won't be with partners who then they still feel left out in the cold, or they always worry that they'll probably leave me because I'm not the one who ever gets chosen by someone really stable. She had to get beyond that. She had to quit choosing knights. And although we didn't ever see them show up as a knight, they were a King of Wands sideways, but they didn't ever show up as a knight. In fact, that's interesting that they didn't. But she had a lesson to learn. Meanwhile, they had a lesson to learn about figuring out what they really wanted. Let me go to each one of them separately and just ask. Oh darn, I wish I hadn't already used this deck because I have a duplicate deck and I could have used that for each one of them. Oh well. I feel like I'm going to hold on to this deck for just a moment and say, what was the lesson overall? How has this entire situation, like where do we close this storyline and we leave the King of Wands sideways? Because before, they still had some stuff that they had to figure out about what they really wanted before they were really going to approach her. Prince of Wands, someone who now does want to pursue romance, but that is Eros, Cupid. I see Seven of Swords. That is wanting to pursue romance for the excitement of romance, but looking at that aspect as that's not truthful. Now remember, she saw them as a Seven of Swords. And now we have them as a Seven of Pentacles. So they now realize they were trying to romance and create a happy honeymoon experience, tell her that I love you, I want to marry you, knowing full well they were too disempowered by their people-pleasing behaviors where they had to do what the family wanted or they couldn't break away from the family because really it was scary. That's what I think it boiled down to for them. And now that they're being encouraged to go create a romance of their own, we saw all that in part one, they are at a place where they've evolved a lot. They've looked at a lot of their shadow side and they realize all the time that I was disempowered, I would secretly try to create moments of extreme happiness, pretend I was ready. Because this is somebody who falls in love with the honeymoon phase, but has no staying power. I said, where do we leave them now? We leave them in this acknowledgement that I was rushing around trying to sell, I love you, we're going to get married, it's going to be awesome. They sold a lie because it's how they functioned to try to give themselves happiness. They're different now. They've gone from being this short-term, love bomber, and it was all lies. It was just them escaping, trying to have some kind of happiness, carve out some, imaginary happy thing for themselves to see what would that feel like if I could really pick someone and they would love me and I would love them, even though I don't have the guts to be with them and go against the family. They were doing that in the past instead of creating anything long-term. At this point, we see them perhaps finding long-term stability in themselves. They have been single for a while at this point. They have built some level of confidence. They think of her and they know she was very important to them. Two of Cups. They realize she helped them come into balance. In all this time, she has become a more important person, not just as, oh, she's so sexy, she loved me and I wanted to be with her, but I kind of panicked and then I still panicked trying to come toward her because I just don't know if I'm ready to be with anybody. Now they see her as, I realize how much balance she brought into my life. She was a major agent to help me change and find balance in my life. Prince of Swords, Ten of Wands. She expedited the process of them finally, this is leaving behind a whole chapter of their life with that Ten of Wands. Whatever those burdens were that made them always want to be a people pleaser, they have laid that down. And she expedited that process. We have a Chariot, we have the Fool, we have a Prince of Wands. The only problem that I see here is that it looks like they are now wanting to start fresh. They want to come toward her with great passion. They want to take this leap of faith now. We're leaving this story where they're coming toward her. The only issue I see is that why do we have a Prince of Wands? Because that was the exact thing that the universe said, don't tangle with princes. If they don't come towards you as a king and have their words back up their actions. Don't tangle with them. That's what the universe said to that Queen of Wands. So the fact that this King of Wands is now coming in, racing forward, wanting this new beginning, but they're coming in as a Knight of Wands. Why are they coming in as a Knight of Wands? Is it just representing how rapidly they're approaching her? Seven of Wands, Three of Swords. No, I have to say that I can't pick the cards that came out. They're either coming forward to talk about that behavior and how we got the Judgment card, we got the Ace of Wands. They may be coming toward her, but it almost looks like it's to reconcile, maybe for the purpose of passion, and maybe to discuss, like, I know I caused a lot of grief by my previous behavior. I didn't know how to overcome some struggles. I was wounded. They may be coming in to try to express all of this finally. We always saw that they wanted to. That's how the whole thing began in part one. But it looks like they'd like to discuss all of this now. They have great passion to discuss all of this. And then maybe the only thing is, I keep seeing them come in with passion, passion, passion. I don't see them coming in with a genuine, huge offer of like love. So where do we leave her? Where does the story end for our Queen of Wands, who learned some things as well? The Sun and the Three of Wands. She's very excited about her future, very clear on what she wants, clear direction about what her life is going to look like, what her ideal life would look like. She may want to be with a Leo. She too has the Seven of Pentacles, and we have the Hanged Man. She knows that she's planning a future for herself. It's she got big plans for her future that could be like, she got a 7-month plan. There's going to be some delays in all this. We have the Tower, we have the Chariot, we have the Hierophant. See, I think she is recognizing that she could be very focused on, I don't care how long it takes for me to end up with the right partner. I'm going to marry the right one. I'm sure of that. We've got Aries, we've got Cancer, we've got Taurus, we've got Pisces for her, we got Leo for her. A lot of major arcana. It's a whole different way. She's not afraid of love. She's sure she'll be with someone who knows what they want, but in the meantime, she's also very clear on what she's building for herself. She's moving forward. She's not in her own way of any kind of success, whether that be business or love or romance. She has a lot of confidence in the universe that the universe is going to bring her, and she too has ended something difficult with that Ten of Wands. She got through her lessons. I don't know that. Got a Four of Wands, we got the Moon, we got the High Priestess. I don't think that these two end up married. I think she marries somebody totally different, someone who she senses is on the horizon for herself, and I don't believe that it's them. I think that they are going to be, they know that she was really important to them. They would like something to start fresh with her again, some kind of big passion. She senses there's someone coming in that will be her ultimate partner that she marries, someone who she could be business partners with, someone who she hasn't met them yet, but she knows that they're coming in. I just don't know that I think it's them. Universe, last card. What happens between these two? Do they end up together? Two of Sacred Circles. These two are definitely some kind of soulmate, twin flame, whatever we want to call it. That does not mean that they end up together, but have they been instrumental in each other's lives? Are they interwoven? Yes. Do they play huge roles in each other's lives? Yes. Do they end up together? They seem to be always connected, but to help one another grow and rebirth and become, I feel like these two help each other lifetime after lifetime to grow and be rebirthed. They may yet have more history together, maybe as friends. Maybe they start from the ground up. You tell me what you think on this one, because I don't see the answer to this. I see this as these two help each other lifetime after lifetime to learn new lessons about seeking happiness. But I don't know that I think that these two are a romantic match at all. I think they have a lot of love. I think they're really important to each other, but I don't know that I think they help each other to then move forward to meet others that they are matching with in a romantic sense, so that they can have happier romances. That's how I see this. All right, I'm going to finally leave this one here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.